Time zones should be simple. Neat vertical slices, 1 hour at a time. But the real map looks like someone tried to draw straight lines on a moving bus. And it gets better. Some places aren't even on the hour. There are time zones that are off by 30 minutes and even 45 minutes. So if time is math, why does the world run on this kind of chaos? Here's the key. Time zones aren't a law of nature. They're a global agreement designed to make daily life less annoying. And the moment you add borders, cities, and trade, the perfect grid falls apart. In theory, the clean version is easy. Earth rotates 360 degrees in 24 hours, so every 15 degrees of longitude is 1 hour. That gives you the satisfying picture, 24 tidy zones marching across the globe. But real people don't live in tidy slices. They live in countries and regions that need to coordinate work, school, transport, and government. If we followed the perfect grid, a lot of countries would be split into multiple times, and daily life would get complicated fast. Imagine one country where the west side is an hour behind the east side. Now multiply that across schools, hospitals, TV schedules, train timetables, business hours, and government services. Even if the sun math is cleaner, the human reality is messier. That's reason number one. The map zigzags. Time zones follow borders. Not because borders are correct, but because shared time makes coordination easier. It's a choice that trades perfect solar alignment for fewer day-to-day problems. Reason number two, time zones protect population centers. Big cities and dense regions create a gravity of schedules, commutes, business hours, events, deliveries. So boundaries often bend to keep major areas on the same clock as the region around them. Because splitting a metro area across 2 times would be chaos. Picture half the city thinking it's 8 o'clock, while the other half thinks it's 9 o'clock. The calendar may survive that. People won't enjoy it. Now the part that makes the map look extra strange. Some places pick a time that doesn't match the sun the way you'd expect. You'll see countries that sit at one longitude, but choose the same time as a neighbor further east or west. That's not always a mistake. It can be strategic. Because time zones aren't just about sunlight. They're also about who you're synced with. If your economy, travel, and communication are tied closely to a neighbor, matching their clock can reduce friction every single day. It's like choosing the same rhythm as the people you interact with most. If your workday overlaps cleanly with your biggest partner, everything from calls to shipping to live events is simpler. So sometimes countries prioritize social and economic alignment over solar perfect. Now let's talk about the offsets that make everyone pause. Half-hour and 45-minute time zones exist because the world doesn't have to choose only whole hours. And once you accept that time zones are human decisions, not physics laws, those offsets start to make sense. Some regions chose half-hour offsets because the best compromise for daylight didn't land neatly on an hour. Other places chose unusual offsets to keep their entire area consistent without splitting into multiple zones. It looks messy on a map, but it can feel smoother on the ground. And then there's the final boss, the international date line. In theory, it could be a clean line near the 180th meridian. Nice and simple. In reality, it swerves and detours like it's trying not to break anyone's calendar. Because the date line isn't just where a new day starts. It's a line that decides whether you're living in today or tomorrow. And splitting an island chain, or a country, into different days creates instant logistical headaches. Imagine planning school, work, flights, deliveries, and government services when one part of your community is literally on a different date. So the date line bends around people, the same way time zone borders do. It's the same principle: reduce friction. Once you notice these rules, the map starts to look less random. You'll see straighter lines where almost nobody lives, like open ocean. And you'll see jagged lines around borders, islands, and dense populations where coordination matters most. So when someone says, time zones are messy, that's true, but it's not an accident. It's a compromise between solar time and social time, between a clean grid and a functional world. The grid is what makes sense to the planet. The zigzags are what makes sense to people. And that's why time zones look uneven, not because the world can't measure time, but because the world is trying to live on it.